Facebook and YouTube, and we will get rocking and rolling with the next step of our ultimate listing presentation. So DJ Charles, how are we looking back there, man?
Okay, yeah, we're good.
Good, awesome. Welcome everybody on Facebook and YouTube. Once again, welcome to everybody on Instagram. We are here again live this week to break down the next step in my 7-step system of the ultimate listing presentation. Hey, just to let you guys know, as a reminder, I've actually done a full-blown training. It's an hour-long training call where I break down the entire system in depth, the same training that I would give my own sales team. And if you guys would like to check that out, look below here in the comment section. You'll see a link. DJ Charles over there is going to post it here in just a moment. You're going to see a link that you can go and register for that webinar where I break down every single step, including our listing presentation. Yeah, that sacred presentation that we take out and show and go over with sellers that help us convert over 90% of the appointments we go on. I actually break that down for you guys. So when you see the link, go ahead, click that. Jump onto that website. You can register for the webinar that's coming up. But today we're going to go over step number 2 as a review. Last week we broke down step number 1 of my 7-step system, which was bonding and rapport. We went into great detail how to build rapport with home sellers when you're first meeting them, and that is done through the initial home tour and activating FROG, family, recreation, occupation, and goals. During that bonding and rapport phase, during that initial preview of the home, you're going to build rapport with them. You know, it's the date before you ask for their hand in marriage. That's your opportunity. That's what we covered last week. So if you missed that, you got 2 options. Number 1, go and find last week's live and rewatch it, or just click the button below, register for the webinar where I break everything down for you guys. This week, step number 2, after you've done that and you've come back, you're sitting down at the kitchen table, you're going to go through T.A.Q.O. 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 Those of you who are out there on Instagram right now, you can't probably see it, but right here on my whiteboard in front of me, I broke it down. T stands for time. A stands for appreciation. Q stands for questions, and O stands for outcome. T.A.Q.O. T.A.Q.O. This is the point where you're sitting down at the kitchen table and you're going to make sure that you have enough time to go over everything with them, that they have enough time set aside for you to conduct your entire consultation. And if they don't, what do? We're going to cover that today. Then you go into giving appreciation, saying thank you so much for allowing you to come over to their home today, spending time with you to better understand their situation. You're going to let them know you're going to be asking them a series of questions. You're going to be asking them questions. You can even give examples of what those questions are, but you're going to let them know you're going to ask them questions to better understand their situation, to make sure that you can be of service to them. And then finally, O, meaning you're asking for the outcome. Going over here, listen, and at the end of our time today, I'm going to ask you if you feel like the worry-free listing system is the right system to help you sell your home. And I'm going to ask for a yes or a no. Are you going to be able to give that to me today? T.A.Q.O. T.A.Q.O. Super important because, number 1, when using T.A.Q.O., you're eliminating the, I'm going to think about it. You don't want that. You do not want that in your sales process. You don't want that in your business, because I think back to when I was a newer agent. I wasn't taught these techniques. I wasn't taught a system in which to go out and meet with sellers. So I would go out and, fumble around and have comparable sales and have some documents about the brokerage, but I wasn't taught a complete system for meeting with home sellers. So I would go in and fumble around, and then at the end, guess what they would tell me? You know what? Thanks, Blake, so much for coming over, but we're going to have to think about it. And I'd be like, damn. Gosh, what can I do today to get at least an answer? And as a young agent, I didn't know that, number 1, It's okay to get a no. No is actually the second best answer in sales because it's a definitive. It is no, we're not going to do business with you. No, we're going with a different agent. And that's okay. It's going to happen. It happens to all of us. No is okay. But at least with no, you can think on to the next one. But with a, I'm going to think about it, you're just trying to hold on. And all of a sudden, you're doing the chasing game now. You leave, you call them, you're chasing them, you're trying to track them down to get signed documents. The anxiety and pressure, you can just feel it like, gosh, I need to get this listing. I can't get them on the phone. I don't know what to do. You're always thinking about it. You may be at your kid's soccer game. You may be there, but you're not present. You're not engaged in the situation, but you're physically there. And that's why I'm telling you guys, we want to at least get an outcome today. So that's T.A.Q.O, time, appreciation, questions, and outcomes. So what does it sound like? So Mr. and Mrs. Seller, first off, thank you. Thank you for giving me a tour. I want to make sure that we've got enough time to go through everything today. The rest of this process takes about 25 to 30 minutes. I want to confirm that you guys have enough time to go through that. Then after they say yes, okay, great. Once again, I really, really want to say thank you. Thank you for allowing me in your home today. Thank you for providing me such an amazing tour of your home. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to actually find out more about your specific situation. That way I can ensure that I'm the right agent and the worry-free listing system is the right system to help you with the sale of your home. What it looks like is this. I'm going to go through and I'm going to ask you a series of questions. I ask those questions because I want to better understand your specific situation. At the end of asking those questions, if I feel like the worry-free listing system is going to be a good fit for you, then I'm going to open it up and break everything down for you. I'm going to go through each step of our worry-free listing system so you can see what it entails. And at the end, I'm going to ask you for a decision. I'm going to ask you if you feel like the worry-free listing system is the right system to help you with the sale of your home. And today, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I'm looking for a yes or I'm looking for a no. Are you guys going to be able to provide that to me today? That's what T.A.Q.O looks like, folks. T.A.Q.O. Time, appreciation, questions, and finally outcome. Now, most agents, or I should say amateur agents, what they end up doing is right after the tour, they'll sit down and want to go right into comparable sales. It's a mistake. That's a mistake. You don't do that. You don't go through comparable sales. First off, you want to make sure that you and the seller have a clear understanding of how much time this is going to take, because then it removes that obstacle or possible future objection. It gets it right out of the way. You know how many times before I learned this technique, I would go sit down and even start to go through my process of asking questions and then presenting and then going for the close, then going through comparable sales, then go through and get them all signed up on the residential listing agreement. They thought I was coming over for 15 to 20 minutes, and I was there for 3 hours. Sometimes 2, sometimes 90 minutes, but it took time. It took time to thoroughly go through this entire process. But what would happen is in the middle of my process, they're like, man, I'm sorry to do this to you, but I got to go. You got to go? Yeah, I got to go. I got to pick up my kids from school. Oh, okay. Well, guess what? I'm right in the middle of going through my worry-free listing. So now I've got to pack all this stuff up and take it. And I've got no decision today. I've got no signed listing agreement today. It is just an absolute cluster. So that's why you want to make sure, man, we got enough time together. And appreciation. There's no better way of starting off a relationship or a conversation rather than being appreciative of someone. Thank you so much. You're showing gratitude. From there, you let them know you're gonna ask them a series of questions. You're not there just to present to them. You're gonna ask them a series of questions to better understand their specific situation, to make sure that the worry-free listing is the right system to help them with the sale of their home. Here's an area, by the way, which we're going to cover in our next training. But here's an area that agents make a mistake all the time. They go in, and if they've got a listing presentation, they go and just present the presentation, and they ask for the agreement. The problem is they didn't find out what was important to the home seller in the home sale process. Like, what's the most important thing for you? I can tell you some homeowners are like this. Listen, I'm not home very often. My house is neat and clean. I want to sell. I don't really need to sell. If you can get $850 for me, great. If not, no sweat off my back. All right, well, there's not a lot of pain there, or there's not a lot of why behind the sale, but they're pretty price motivated. But I can tell you, for me, like, if I'm selling my personal home, I'll take less money. I'm not interested in getting every nickel and dime out of my home. What I am concerned about, though, is the hassle of the whole process. Like my wife and kids having to get out of the house. My wife, being at home most of the time, having to clean up or organize or deal with showings. That is something that is worth a lot of money to me. So I don't care about getting every nickel and dime. I want the least hassle-free process. So for me, the way you would present to me your listing presentation, or even the worry-free listing, is different than you would present it to the first example, which is all about the money. You would not present the same way because you want to find out my pain points. And once you find out my pain points first, then you present that way. That's how you're going to get deals closed each and every time you go out. You find out what's important to them and you present to them that way. That's why you got to ask questions. That's how you find out. You got to ask questions. And finally, outcome. You're asking for a decision today. You're eliminating that we're going to think about it. You get them to a point where you have got to get an outcome, because if you get an outcome today, you know what your next steps are. You want to walk out of the door with your briefcase knowing, yes, got the listing, or didn't get the listing, but on to the next one. It just wasn't a good fit. Either way, that's what you're wanting out of today, is an outcome. T.A.Q.O, time, appreciation, questions, and outcome. By the way, if you guys would like to learn more about the entire system, below in the comments, you're going to see a link. Click the link. It's going to take you to a free webinar that I've done all about my 7-step system to the ultimate listing presentation, where I break down everything. So don't miss out. It's available for you today. You do not need to wait another 5 weeks to get this entire system. And I break it down into even greater detail. So once again, guys, right there in the comment section. By the way, if you guys found this training and previous trainings helpful, please let me know. Comment below. Let us know what you're liking. Also, feel free to comment and say, here's what I'm struggling with. That tells me what to come and provide value of. By the way, don't forget, we also have a private Facebook group just for real estate agents, where we're consistently working on things, collaborating, providing free trainings, and also giving out referrals. That's through the Real Estate Dojo. That's the Facebook group that I've built. So if you haven't joined that, go ask to join that today. Every day you're not there, you're missing out on free trainings, free content, and most importantly, referrals for your real estate business. So go join that as well. Thank you guys so much for joining me on your lunch break here on a Thursday. Happy Thursday, everyone. Get ready for TGIF tomorrow. Make it a great weekend, and I'll catch you next week.